Hello and welcome back to Today Crypto for another video. And in today's video, we're going to be jumping into FTM, a ticker for Fantom on the Bitflex exchange. Only one thing about Bitflex, guys, they don't have enough data on much of these coins since their inception back in, I believe it is 2022, from what I can remember. From Jan 2022, so that means you won't have much data source information on a lot of these cryptocurrencies, but nevertheless we can still make decent trades. You can also use other exchanges for references when it comes down to the price actions and also the historical data of each of these coins. Now in today's video I'm going to show you my daily setup for my hunting for a trade when it comes down to cryptocurrency in general. And just as a rule of thumb, I actually use this method on all other charts as well, so it's not strictly just for crypto, it's also for stock exchange and also the FX. So if you find that useful, if you will find it useful and informative, if you'd like to find out more on how I do this, then please stick around. So let's roll the intro. Alright guys, so this is what I usually do in order for me to set the charts up in a way that is a lot more easier and manageable for me to look for my areas of entry and also areas where I'm looking to take my profit and also potential stop losses if the trade is going against me. So firstly, what I'll do, I would expand on the chart, leaving this panel open here for me so I can draw up all the lines that's required. I don't typically use any of the EMAs, the moving averages. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of all the indications there. Perfect. So we're working off the blank, nothing but naked charts. Okay, so let's draw all the lines so we can see what's my area of interest and what area am I looking at for. So firstly, I'm going to draw my resistance line, and how I work out my resistance line is essentially the last couple of highs. That's the last high before this one here, and then if you look across, you do have these longer and slightly above candles with a larger wicks on top. So technically I can use that as a resistance line. In fact, I don't always use the tip of the candle wicks. I'd rather use the body. Each traders have their own niche in terms of where they place their resistance line. So the reason why I'll go for this one here instead is because it's made this massive move to the upside without printing any red candle. So that's a parabolic move to the top. And normally whenever this happens, then let me get the arrow just so I can show you as I'm commentating on this particular move right here. Right, so we've exploded to the upside without printing any red candles, so chances are you have a higher probability that it will be pulled back. Sometimes it can be drastic as this, when it goes all the way back down straight away, or otherwise we do like a couple of movements to the upside and downside, retrace back up to its near that high before it went all the way back down. Now all of these are tradable events, and I can show you exactly how I do that myself. But without further ado, let's complete some of the most important support and resistance lines, and also where would I be looking to potentially take the trade. Alright, so firstly, that's a resistance line. I'm now going to place a support line down here, because from where we broke up from, that could be an area of support. And then if you look to your right, it looks like we've actually retested this zone here before we went back up. So that means you got 1, 2, including that wick over here, then several more over there. So that's a good case to call that your support. So let's duplicate the line, or clone should I say. Oops, sorry, that's my arrow, we don't want that. Right, and this area here will be, it doesn't have to be precisely to the point, you just need to have an area that you can identify as your support and your resistance. Now let's take a deep dive into the chart. So it looked like that we came all the way back down, we retested the support area, then we headed back up, we've actually touched the resistance, but we couldn't quite break through it just yet. Had it been a nice little pullback where we've met this red indecision candle, it's called a doji. Had we bounced off from there and go all the way or claw away to the top, then that will give us a stronger probability that we would have cleared well above this resistance line. Instead, we reacted pretty negatively the second that we touched the resistance, and we pulled all the way back down, and it looks like we broke it down below this doji candle over here. And now it looks like we're retesting into this zone over here due to the fact that one, we have lots of candle wicks in this area and a build-up of candles, which means that that's a build-up of liquidity. So this time we won't bring out a horizontal line, instead we will bring out a rectangle box instead. Okay, here we go. Now this will be an area for a decent pullback or retracement back into the space. As we can see with this weekly candle, this one over here, we did in fact came back down into the area of interest before we went back up again. Now if the candle closes tomorrow in the same position as where we are now, that means we have a good bullish sentiment that we should be able to make our way back up to the top. Now if that was to happen, now what sort of gains would we be looking at? So from here to there is approximately 56%, so that's a nice trade to the upside. You can use small leverage. In fact, I wouldn't recommend any more than 2 or 3 unless if you've been trading for a while and you gain some experience so you know what you're doing. In case if you don't, I would highly suggest you to not use leverage. Of course, this is not financial advice for anyone else, but it's like to say, if you are a seasoned pro, then yeah, you can do as much as 10x, in some cases maybe even 30x, but the higher you leverage trade, then the bigger the risk. So that means you need to make sure you control your risk management. But nevertheless, let's get back into this analysis. Okay, so it looks like we've got a massive wick over here. Now usually with a long wick with a smaller body, that would indicate that this one here is looking more likely that we are going to go to the upside, because as we came back down to retest this area over here, it looked like we bought back up straight away. So that means this area here would be nice anywhere here to go in for a long. Because we missed this one out, we haven't entirely missed the trade. So that means as soon as we break above this red candle over here, you can either look for a trade over here. Let's bring out the smaller rectangle. So this will be a good place to look for a entry. So that means once we do something like this, let's bring out the arrow. So once we do something like this, hopefully we should be expecting a pullback. And remember guys, when it comes down to trading, we can't always predict, but we can only react. Reactive traders always makes the best profits, because you're always waiting for a confirmation before you step in. Now that is exactly what I'll be looking for if we do break up above the smaller rectangle there. Hopefully waiting for a pullback, you can enter right there for that bigger move to the upside. Then that will be a lovely trade to be had from here. All the way from here, it will still give you around about 49 to 50%. So if you was to 2x leverage that, you could potentially be making 100% on your trade. And yes, if you're putting $1,000, you'll be getting another $1,000 back to yourself straight away, and that'd be an amazing trade to be had. So that would be for the short term bullish sentiment. Otherwise, if we're looking on a slightly bearish term, that would spell a bigger pullback, or at least another 50% pullback back down to this area here, or the support. So that would mean that potentially we could be ranging and going sideways before Fantom decides to make a decision whether we break further down here, which will take us below 17 cents or go above 56%. Currently, the way the chart looks like, it looks like we're just ranging in a minute, going side to side, but it looks a little bit more bullish than it does bearish, and that is my technical analysis on the Fantom on the weekly charts. Hopefully you find this useful and informative, and if you do so, would you please be able to just give me a subscribe right over here. And also, if you'd like to see more of my videos, just click over here, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.